Hi, I'm Dan Chambers of Chambers Law Firm. In this video, I'm going to discuss some important procedural differences that exist between state and federal prosecutions. Now, in state court here in California, a defendant, once they're arrested, usually has the right to post bail, get out of custody, and go to their arraignment out of custody. The other big difference in state court in California, if you're charged with a felony, is that you're entitled to what's called a preliminary hearing. It's actually a constitutional right here in California under our state constitution. And at that preliminary hearing, the prosecutor is required to call witnesses to establish the elements of the offense and put on enough evidence to establish that you're the person that committed that crime. Now, it provides some important procedural safeguards. Your attorney can be present and can cross-examine those witnesses, and it can be an important part of weakening the prosecutor's case to the point where you might be able to negotiate a favorable plea bargain. Federal court, however, is very different, even from the beginning. In a different video regarding detention hearings, I discussed how in federal court, you don't necessarily post bail. That's not really a thing in federal court. Instead, you have to go before a magistrate, and you have to fight to be released, hopefully on terms of supervision, where you can check in with probation or pretrial services so that you can keep your freedom while you fight your case. Sometimes federal court might also require a loved one to sign a bond or a promissory note in a certain amount of money to ensure that you come to court. So it's very different. The detention hearing is an important step, and you don't immediately have the right to post bail and get out of federal custody. Another important difference in federal court is that preliminary hearings that I just talked about are very rare. In federal court, if you're indicted for the crimes, you're not even entitled to a preliminary hearing, or what is sometimes called a preliminary examination. You're also not entitled to one if the government proceeds by way of what's called an information and you waive your right to be indicted. So it's a very rare circumstance in federal court where you're going to get a preliminary hearing. Now, that's a bit of a tactical disadvantage because you won't be able to examine the witnesses and look at the evidence as closely as you might in state court if you had a preliminary hearing. One of the major final differences I want to discuss is the fact that in federal court, the judge has a lot more control over the proceedings. Federal courts, by and large, are more formal. They have more deadlines, and those deadlines tend to be stricter. And a lot of federal judges like to move their calendar and their docket a lot faster than state court. So if you're stuck in federal court, you may have a judge that we call a rocket docket judge that wants to move your case quickly, and it may not give you the time you need to defend yourself against the charges. So if you're facing federal charges, make sure that you call Chambers Law Firm as soon as you can so we can walk you through the differences and the best ways to protect your interests and keep you out of prison. We always offer a free consultation, and we'll look forward to talking to you. Thank you.